Hello Infochino lovers, Andrew Charles here, the Director of Compnow's Commercial, Government and Enterprise Business, and I'm joined today by Karolis Macionis, who's our Regional Director from Dell for APEX for Asia Pacific and Japan. Karolis,
good to meet you.
Welcome to Compnow.
Thank you.
Yeah, we first met at Dell Technology World in late May, early June this year.
That's correct.
An awesome event, I must admit. It really helped me get under the covers of what Dell is doing with its APEX brand. You've been driving this ship now for some period of time. I'd love you to tell me how you got into that side of Dell's business and why you love APEX so much.
Well, great question, by the way. And first of all, thank you for having us here. And always great to see partners all across the region. And indeed, time in Vegas was great. Just to answer to kind of more in relation to APEX, I think it's evident that APEX is really the future of Dell, and the future is now because our customers are asking every day for more flexible, consumption-centric, utility-based solutions and services. And there's this gap in the market where obviously a lot of public cloud providers went in there years ago and provided the multi-tenanted environments in their data centers, but we live in a multi-cloud world where some workloads will still remain on-prem, right? They're mission critical, they're sensitive, they're highly classified. And as a result, APEX is addressing that demand, is addressing that element of in the equation where the customers want to enjoy those flexible consumption models, but yet on-prem. And for me, that was just really interesting, given my background working with a lot of cloud providers before, and trying to mold it in the Dell Technologies sort of strategy approach, and frankly, it's probably the most exciting part of the company, and I'm really humbled and delighted to be here.
Oh, look, Karolis, that's really interesting to hear. You've been managing this business now for some time at Region. You've got a lot of Dell employees that report up to you. I love the way you get down into the grassroots, and you love to get out and see customers and take customers on the journey. Can you highlight, and you don't have to mention their names specifically, but maybe just a couple of industry verticals where you're seeing a really great uptake of the APEX technology at the moment?
Absolutely. There's several of them, of course. Well, we see a lot of uptake in the industries where there is a demand for flexible workloads, meaning that if someone is in a logistics or travel industry, some of our FSI and insurance customers, they do experience different loads at different times in a year. For example, if you're in logistics during Christmas or Easter or summer break, there's definitely an increase in volume in consumption of their services. And for many years, IT has been seen as being a cost center, right? It's just someone who has black boxes there in the background, and it just buzzes and does the thing. However, there's been a flat line, right? You pay millions for a server storage, and that's all what you have. Now, with APEX, we are able to kind of transform IT in kind of more interesting, more compelling way where IT is becoming a business enabler. Meaning that, yes, if I'm selling, thousands and thousands of my, boxes or services I'm doing, my revenue is going up, great. My cost is going up as well because I consume more of IT resources, which is kind of in line, and then we kind of really work from there. But if the opposite happens and your revenue drops, you no longer have this sort of fixed committed cost in front of you. The cost follows the revenue curve. So a lot of customers who are sort of in this sort of more of a kind of spiky business models, they do benefit a lot. Another side I would say is customers would have a lot of mission critical workloads which need to remain in-house. Be it highly classified information, be it low latency workloads, as I call it, something mission critical, a little bit like your heart of a business you want to keep close. That these customers really tend to kind of see and enjoy the benefits of APEX, especially around the financial element of that.
Oh, that's really interesting, Karolis. And it's good to see that as well, when an organisation implements APEX, or for example, a channel partner like Compnow implements an APEX solution. So we've built our cloud technology on Dell's technology platform, and APEX in particular. The services portion that goes with that, the implementation and the ongoing support of the technology, that can either be run via a partner, a titanium partner like Compnow, or we can tap into Dell's vast portfolio of services capabilities. I'm assuming you see a lot of that in the market and in the region, Karolis, where you know, organisations are relying on Dell to get the most out of that APEX architecture.
Very true, and if I just kind of pivot a little bit from here, it's when we launched APEX, and that's now, you know, Project APEX was mentioned almost over 3 years ago. We actively went to market around 2 years ago. At the very start, partners came to us and they really asked to clarify the messaging a little bit, because there was this wrong assumption that we are in the business of competing with partners, meaning that, you know, you guys providing now infrastructure as a service and up the stack sort of different services. Well, hold on, I'm doing the same. Where do we stand? I used to buy all the, you know, hardware from you and your solutions to power my data center. But hold on, you are doing now that yourself. And we had to, we as a company had to pivot pretty rapidly and explain that that's absolutely not the case. A lot of our partners, where we see them taking most of the benefit, is using APEX as a just let's think like a house. It's foundation for the house, right? You know, it's solid, is you know, bulletproof, and it's proven all across different countries, not just in APJ but also globally. And where partners go with that, they say, okay, well, my knowledge and my sort of expertise and where best serve my customers is actually up the stack, right? The IaaS bit, the foundational bit, is kind of a bit boring, right? It's, you know, I sometimes use analogies like selling tires for the cars, right? Absolutely necessary, must be there, but, you know, they all black, they all round, right? Whereas a partner goes up the stack and says, okay, I'm going to launch this software as a service platform or platform as a service or container as a service. That's where their know-how goes in. That's where competitive advantage is, and that's where they serve most of our customers. So to me, you know, in short, it's a hand-in-glove sort of partnership, and, you know, uptake is tremendous. I would say most of the you know, my meetings are probably with partners now more than end users.
And you're finding, Karolis, the conversation's drifting more towards the application stack and where that application stack wants to live and be consumed versus, hey, give me X amount of physical infrastructure.
Absolutely. So there's no doubt that the whole IT sales kind of industry is really shifting from a lot of sellers where around features, functions, like my hardware, you know, is better than yours, my disk is spinning faster, you know, I have more blinking lights. That's really going away, because the customers really want to see what's the outcome of all that, right? How does that apply to my business? Being again, as I'm a logistics company, I'm a bank, I'm an insurance company, I'm a hotel. How does that IT thing you sell to me, how does that help? And back to answer your question, Charles, around the application. Application is where it kind of flourishes, right? That's you know, it's like a water spring. You know, that's where the whole thing comes out, and customers, okay, this app allows me to reach and tap into this segment of the customers. And now we kind of deliberately want to hide a little bit what's underneath, because cloud by itself, it's a business model, right? It's a concept, it's a framework. Not you don't really speak about, you know, using a car analogy, it's like if you rent a car, you don't really care what oil is it running in the engine, as long as the car runs, meets the SLA, you know, it's delivered, then yeah, absolutely.
And it is safe to say that underpinning APEX, there is an incredible amount of Dell IP and technology. You know, I was blown away when I went to Dell Technology World recently by the vast portfolio of new infrastructure that literally underpins the APEX brand. And the beauty of, you know, as we've discussed, Karolis, is that APEX being a brand allows you to tap into all this incredible IP that Dell develops. You know, particularly things like the new Powerflex technology, which seems to be making, you know, vast waves in the market today. It's almost avalanching, you know, what you guys did with VxRail. Do you want to just comment a little bit on how Powerflex fits into the APEX portfolio as well?
Absolutely, great segue. And again, not to pivot too much into the actual product conversation, but Powerflex is, in my opinion, is one of the best kept secrets in Dell. Right? This is just this Swiss Army knife, which just fits all different scenarios. You know, and we see customers being able to configure that in a, you know, be it a small deployment, large deployment, you know, multiple nodes, and can really be a reliable platform underneath.
And any hypervisor.
And that's very important. And we're going to go there in a second, right? Any hypervisor. And when, again, kind of stepping back a little bit of a history how APEX was developed, obviously we were VMware-centric. VMware was very close, continues to be very close to us. But as we look of how can we actually extend this, on-prem, mission-critical, consumption-based private cloud environment, aka APEX, into a AWS environment, into Azure environment, into Red Hat environment. And in a simple terms, you need some sort of highway. You need a road. You need a channel to connect, right? And Powerflex is that sort of a connecting tissue between the on-prem APEX and now direct interconnects into AWS or Azure and Red Hat. And also this comes from one side that of course we want to be able to reach out and service all those different markets. But again, listening to their customers, they say, look. The days are gone when I was a VMware shop or Microsoft shop. I have a little bit of that here, I have a little bit of that there, I have a little bit of that there. And I do have different workloads running on different environments. I want to be able to move them across. And that's what we launched or announced and launching in the second half, announced in Dell Technologies World, is all what's called APEX Cloud Platforms. Where effectively, through the APEX Navigator, which is an interface, a single pane of glass, which allows you to move workloads up and down. You will be able, as a customer or partner, to access all those different environments and place workloads, be it on a public cloud or a private cloud, depending on, again, on the definition of the workload, sensitivity, latency requirements, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, again, Powerflex is the glue underneath and, really one of the cornerstones to our offering.
No, that's super exciting to hear, Karolis, and it's certainly a technology that our enterprise architects at Compnow are in touch with and learning. The technology is quite new to the Australian marketplace, but it's been rolled out in the US and the UK, and it's certainly gaining a huge amount of momentum. It is actually available now here in Australia, so if you are interested, you can reach out to your local Compnow account manager or BDM for a discussion around that. Where does that leave the hyperscalers, Karolis? The hyperscalers are, I think, in a state of flux at the moment. 10 years ago, they really started compounding and hitting the marketplace with aggression. AWS, Azure, Google's environment. Yeah. Now we're seeing a resurgence of the OEM vendors, particularly Dell, world's largest manufacturer of server technology, really sort of charge back. Do you think there's still a place for both to play in the market?
Absolutely, yes. So again, I had a chance to work closely with hyperscalers for now probably close to 15 years across different continents, and started here in Australia, then Middle East, then now across Asia. And you're right, you're absolutely right. There was 10, 15 years ago, there were things were said that just watch, by 2020 every single workload will live on the public cloud. People are getting used to, kind of as a service experience, a little bit like Netflix, Spotify. We don't really buy DVDs anymore. You just go somewhere, click a button, pay $10 a month, you consume, and that changes the culture. And they were quite arrogant, all of them, in fact, saying that it's just going to be on public cloud. Now it's 2023, and it couldn't be further away from the truth. Because what we see that a lot of customers went to a public cloud, experienced the concept, and some of them just stayed and it really worked. But we see a lot of cloud repatriation. Well, we see a lot of workloads coming back on-prem, and those customers kind of transformed their thinking. They no longer want, as I kind of mentioned at the start, they no longer want have servers buzzing in a data center and idling there, right? They want to actually align the cost with their revenue, and that's where APEX really comes into play. I truly believe that different workloads belong to different landing zones. And some workloads will forever stay in public cloud. We're absolutely happy with that. We're not there to kind of contest that, right? Some workloads will forever stay indoors. Some workloads will probably kind of float in between.
Some will move to the edge.
Yeah, correct. And a lot of them will move to the edge as well. But autonomous cars and everything else, it's and with AI now, it's an explosion, right? So I believe that there's definitely enough room for everyone to play and address those requirements. And probably the last one, we even see some hyperscalers coming into the data center, right? Through like AWS offerings, through Azure, even Google Anthos and Outpost, etc. Yeah. So clearly these guys also did their homework, and we thought, probably there's business in there, and that some customers are probably asking for them to extend the environment indoors as well. So I think it just kind of double clicks on a strategy that I suppose the APEX was right move for us as a company, and yeah, continues to grow.
Well, Karolis, we certainly agree. We're excited about APEX at Compnow. We've invested heavily in it. We've built our cloud off the back of the technology that runs it. Thank you for your time today, Karolis. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Absolutely.
And look forward to seeing you again soon. Compnow provides IT custom built for your needs. If you'd like to know more about what we spoke about today, please get in touch with your Compnow account manager or email us at info@compnow.com.au. Thanks, guys, and have a great day.